On a perfectly ordinary Sunday morning, a man stood up in front of 400 people and received a standing ovation. He had not cured a disease, built a shelter, or made a single life measurably better. He had simply expressed belief in something invisible, with enough conviction to move a room. Meanwhile, 3 blocks away, a woman who had spent the previous week quietly changing lives received nothing. No applause, no reinforcement, no signal from her community that what she did mattered. That gap is not a coincidence. It is a system. Communities do not reward what they value most. They reward what they can see, hear, and feel in a shared moment together. Conviction performs well in a crowd, and crowds respond to performance with the only currency they carry. The woman 3 blocks away never learned that her work was worth anything, because nobody told her so with any consistency or force. And here is the uncomfortable part. She adjusted her behavior accordingly, the way every human being eventually does. Belief is the story you tell yourself about who you are, but it doesn't build anything on its own. What actually constructs a person, habit by habit, year by year, is reinforcement. Every time a behavior gets rewarded, the brain files it under "do this again" without asking for your opinion. It doesn't matter if the behavior is generous or destructive, noble or embarrassing, because the mechanism doesn't judge. It just counts what gets repeated and what gets ignored. Psychologists have known this since Skinner, but we keep acting surprised when people turn out shaped by their incentives rather than their ideals. The gap between what someone believes and what they do is almost always a reinforcement story. Someone believes they value honesty, but every white lie that kept the peace got a quiet reward. Someone believes they're ambitious, but comfort got reinforced every single time. Belief sets the intention. Reinforcement sets the destination. Every community has a finite pool of praise, and what it pours that praise into matters more than most people realize. When a congregation celebrates the man who testifies loudly about his faith, they're reinforcing testimony, not kindness. The nurse who quietly works double shifts gets a polite nod, while the loudest believer gets a standing ovation. Over time, that gap doesn't stay invisible. It reshapes who people try to become. Children watch where the applause lands, and they aim for exactly that target. A society that rewards professing belief over measurable care is training its members to perform conviction rather than build anything real. The teacher who changes a kid's life gets a card. The preacher who moves a crowd gets a monument. That asymmetry compounds across decades, across institutions, across entire cultures. We don't just lose the actions that go unpraised, we lose the people who might have taken them. The community that actually functions is not the one with the best intentions posted on a wall. It's the one where someone notices the quiet act and says something out loud. When a neighbor shovels your walk without being asked, you tell people, loudly, specifically, by name. When a coworker catches a mistake that would have cost everyone, you make sure the room knows who caught it. That kind of attention is not soft or sentimental. It is the mechanism that builds the next behavior. Every time you reinforce something real, you are casting a vote for what this place values. The people around you are watching what gets celebrated, and they are quietly adjusting. Ordinary people hold more of this power than any policy ever written. You don't need a title or a budget. You need the habit of noticing what matters and saying so.